If you've been playing guitar for a while and you feel like you're spinning your wheels, practicing regularly, learning new things, but not actually getting better in any meaningful way, I want to talk about why that's happening. Because I don't think the problem is what most people think it is. It's not that you need more scales. It's not that you need to learn more songs. And it's definitely not that you're not talented enough or that you started too late. The problem is something I call information without structure, and it explains a lot, including why you're stuck right now. When I first started learning guitar, I did what I now see almost every guitarist do. I'd hear something cool, a lick, a chord progression, a song, and I'd try to copy it. And that felt like learning. It felt productive. I was getting better at things, but here's what was actually happening. I wasn't learning music. I was really just memorizing finger movements. Every new thing that I picked up lived on its own little island. I had no idea how it connected to anything else. It's like staring up at the night sky and seeing lots of stars, but no constellations. You can see all this stuff and none of it means anything yet. And the frustrating part, I was putting in real time. I was practicing, but I wasn't moving forward the way I should have been for the hours that I was putting in. It wasn't until I was deep into gigging, learning hundreds of songs, doing studio work, teaching, that I finally figured out what was actually going wrong. The problem wasn't effort. The problem was structure. I hadn't built the foundation first, so everything that I was learning had nothing solid to attach to. I was spreading myself too thin and nothing was connecting. And here's the thing, this problem is worse today than it's ever been, mainly because of YouTube. YouTube is incredible. I mean that. I have a YouTube channel. I watch guitar videos on here all the time. I love what YouTube makes possible, but unlimited information with no organization leads to overload. What ends up happening is guitarists learn a ton of stuff, but they can't see how any of it connects. They end up relearning the same ideas in different keys without realizing it. They work harder than they need to, and when they sit down to practice, they genuinely don't know what to work on. That frustration usually sends people searching for a better system, a better course, a better teacher, when really what they need is a different way of thinking about how guitar learning actually works. The myth. Here's what we want learning to look like. Step 1, step 2, step 3, eventually you arrive, fully formed, and you can play anything. Clean, simple, logical. The problem is music doesn't work that way. Probably not much in life works that way. You don't master one skill and then move on forever. The skills overlap, they intersect, they reinforce each other. Getting better at one thing changes how you see everything else. I spent years searching for that perfect linear path. I wanted someone to just tell me the exact sequence. Do this, then this, but it doesn't exist. It can't. Music is not a straight line. What does exist, and what I wish someone had shown me early on, is a small set of foundational skills that everything else depends on. The 3 essential skills. After years of gigging, recording, and teaching, I kept noticing the same thing. Certain skills kept showing up over and over, regardless of the style I was playing. Rock gigs, country gigs, funk gigs, even jazz standards. It didn't matter. The same 3 things kept carrying most of the weight. I didn't choose these because they were theoretically interesting. I chose them because everything else fell apart without them. Those 3 skills are the number system, the caged system, and the landmark pentatonic system. Before we dive into these skills, you can download the diagrams and backing track for this video by clicking on the link down in the description below. Now, I know if you've been around guitar education for any time, you've probably heard of at least some of these. But I want to be specific about why these 3 and not something else. The number system. The number system gives you a way to understand what chords are in a key and how they relate to each other. When you know this, learning songs becomes easier, writing songs becomes easier, and you stop having to start from scratch every time you pick up a song in a new key. You start hearing music as relationships instead of random chords. Let me show you an example. Let's take the key of D. To figure out the D major scale, I can use the phone number trick. 221, 2221. So I start with the note D, go up 2 frets to E, 2 more frets to F sharp, 1 fret to G, 2 frets to A, 2 frets to B, 2 frets to C sharp, 1 fret, and I'm back to D. There's a chord based on each note of the major scale, and it's the same in every key. The 1, 4, and 5 chords are major, the 2, 3, and 6 chords are minor, and the 7 chord is diminished. It's hardly ever used. We're just going to ignore that one for now. The 6 minor chord is what they call the relative minor. So the key of D major and the key of B minor are the exact same scale and the exact same group of chords. So I want to write something a little darker sounding. So I'm going to start with the 6 chord, B minor. And let's play B minor, D, G. Now I'll record that progression. Practicing the number system for different keys is such an important skill to understand music. I highly encourage you to add that to your routine. Caged. Caged gives you the harmonic map of the entire fretboard. It shows you where every chord lives in every position on the neck. And once you see it, you understand why the guitar is laid out the way that it is. Let's look at the caged shapes for the progression we just came up with and use them to craft a rhythm guitar part. To get started with caged, I recommend starting with just 3 shapes: the E shape, the A shape, and the D shape. The first chord was B minor, so the E minor shape of B minor is here at the 7th fret. And we don't have to play all of the notes in any of these shapes. This big bar chord can be distilled into smaller shapes like these 3 notes, or maybe these 3 notes. Breaking these big chords into smaller shapes is simple, practical, and effective. The A minor shape of B minor is here at the 2nd fret, and the D minor shape is here at the 10th fret. The next chord was D, and this open D is the D shape of D. The E shape of D is here at the 10th fret, and again, I would probably distill this into a smaller, more practical shape. And then the A shape of D is here at the 5th fret, and I might even simplify this one to a really practical 3-note shape. Then the last chord was G, and I find those same 3 shapes we just found for D. So the E shape of G is here at the 3rd fret, the D shape of G is here at the 7th, and the A shape of G is up here at the 10th fret. At first, you might feel a little overwhelmed finding all of these shapes, but as you start using these caged shapes in your playing, they will get in your memory pretty quickly. And anytime you come across a G chord, you'll remember that you can play this D shape of G here at the 7th fret. Now let's craft a simple rhythm guitar part for the progression. So I'll play the E minor shape of B minor here. I'm just going to play those 3 notes. For the D chord, I'll play this little fragment of the A shape of D. And then for the G chord, I'll play the E shape of G. So I'll play that the first time through the progression. The second time through the progression, I'll play the same B minor, the same D, but maybe for the G chord, I'll come up here. That simple change of playing the G chord 2 different ways literally makes the song feel half as repetitive. Because instead of having a 2-bar phrase that repeats, we now have a 4-bar phrase. Let's record that. Caged is the skill that most people don't work on nearly enough. It's the thing that transformed my playing and understanding more than anything else. The landmark pentatonic system. So the landmark pentatonic system gives you the simplest way to navigate the neck when you're soloing, a way that's visual and musical at the same time. Instead of memorizing 5 box patterns as separate shapes and trying to climb through them without getting lost, you learn to see the whole neck through 2 main landmark shapes. The progression we just came up with was in the key of B minor. For the landmark pentatonic system, we first find the note B on the E string here at the 7th fret, and I play shape number 1. We then move back 2 frets from the lowest note and play the diagonal extensions of shape number 1. Then we find the note B on the A string, and that's here at the 2nd fret, or 12 frets higher at the 14th fret, and I play shape number 4. And I'm going to demo it here at the 14th fret first. Then I can diagonally extend shape number 4 the same way we did earlier by moving back 2 frets from the lowest note and playing this. We said B was also located here at the 2nd fret, so we can play shape number 4 here. And again, I can diagonally extend shape 4 by moving back 2 frets. But this gives us open strings, so the shape feels different, but it is exactly the same shape that we played higher up on the neck. Now, here's what all those shapes sound like in context. When I started focusing my practice on these 3 things, just these 3, everything got easier. Learning songs, soloing, understanding harmony, playing with other musicians without feeling lost. And I saw the same thing happen with my students, the spiral. Now, here's where I want to change how you think about these skills, because this is the part that most people miss. These 3 things are not separate boxes that you just check off. They're not a sequence, they're a system, and they talk to each other. When you get better at seeing caged shapes, your pentatonic playing improves because now you can see chord tones inside the scale. You're not just running patterns, you're making musical choices. When you get better at the number system, caged shapes start to make sense across songs instead of feeling random. You understand why certain shapes show up in certain places. This is why learning guitar isn't a straight line, it's a spiral. Every time you come back around to these skills, Every time you go around this spiral, you're seeing them with more context, more understanding, and more confidence. You're making more connections. They feel separate at first, but over time, they'll start to click together naturally. That's when everything starts to feel connected. Chords connect to keys, cage shapes connect to scales. And when you sit down to learn a new song, you already know where to look. You're not just understanding a few separate skills anymore. You're understanding music. I've watched this happen with students who've been stuck for years. Some of them never stopped searching for that step-by-step sequence. Others gave up on that and just started learning songs by rote, memorizing shapes and fingerings with no real map underneath it. Two different roads to the same dead end. So if you're feeling stuck right now, I want you to consider that the answer isn't more information. It's better structure around the right skills. If you're not sure where to start with a number system. Pick 2 or 3 keys and learn what chords are in each one. And then do 2 things with that. First, make up simple chord progression using those chords and just strum through them. Get your ears used to how that group of chords sounds together. Second, take songs that you're already playing and figure out how they fit into the number system. You'll start seeing patterns that you never noticed before. Do that for a few weeks, and I promise you'll start hearing music differently, and songs that you already know will start making sense in a completely new way. Then take what you just learned and apply caged to it. Find those chord shapes across the neck for the keys that you've been working on. Not just one chord in one position, but the same chord in multiple places. That's where cage actually becomes useful. Most people who've tried caged never got that far, and that's exactly why it didn't stick. Then bring the landmark pentatonic system in it, and you'll have everything you need to solo with real confidence across the entire neck, no matter what song you're working on. And don't forget, you can download the diagrams and the backing track for this video by clicking on the link down in the description below. And if you want to see how I teach this, the full system, the spiral approach, all 3 skills in one place, I also put a link to my course below. It's called Essential Skills for Guitar, and it's built entirely around what I've talked about in this video. But even if that's not for you right now, I hope this reframe helps, because I genuinely believe that most guitarists are working harder than they need to. And that's not a talent problem, it's a structure problem. To see how pro guitarists rely on these skills in the real world, watch this video next. And if this was helpful, please like and subscribe. It really helps YouTube get this message to more players who need to hear it. Thanks. See you next week.